The administrations of the empire 1. With the passage of time, the settlement of peasants called Ur proposed because of the improved means of irrigation. Groups of such villages formed a larger unit called Nadu. The village council and the Nadu undertook many administrative functions. The Chola kings honored some rich landlords with the titles like Muvin Davelin, a villein or peasant serving 3 kings, Arayar, chief, etc. They were also given important offices of the state and the centre. The Chola kings gave different kinds of land grants. Brahmadaya or land grant to a Brahmana was one of them. It was recorded on copper plates and given to the receiver of the land. The Chola kings permitted the Brahmanas who received a land grant for the following. The receiver of land could collect taxes from it. He could also collect taxes imposed by judicial officers as fines, tax on betel leaves, on woven clothes and vehicles. He could build large rooms with upper stories of baked bricks. He could get wells dug, plant trees and thorny bushes. If required, he could also get canals constructed for irrigation. He should build embankments to ensure that water was not wasted. Other kinds of land grants by Chola kings were Vellan Vagai, land of the non-Brahmana peasant proprietors; Shalabhoga, land for the maintenance of a school; Devadana, Tirunamattukanni, land gifted to temples; Palichandam, land donated to Jain institutions. The administration of the empire 2. As a result of land grant of Brahmadaya, Brahmana habitation, like other regions in southern India, grew in the Kaveri Valley too. A Sabha or assembly of prominent Brahmana landlords took care of the Brahmadayas. These were competent assemblies whose decisions were etched on the stone walls of temples. Nagarams or associations of traders were also involved in administrative activities sometimes. Inscriptions from Uttara Merur in Chingalput district, Tamil Nadu, elaborate on the functioning of a sabha. Sabhas had separate committee for irrigation, gardens or temples, etc. According to the Uttara Merur inscription, the aspirants to a sabha should fulfill the following conditions. The aspirants should be owners of land from which land revenue is collected. They should possess a house of their own. They should be in the age group of 35 to 70 years. They should be accomplished and honest administrators. They should have knowledge of the Vedas. Anyone who has been a member of any committee in the last 3 years would not be eligible to become a member of another committee. Anyone who fails to submit his own accounts as well as those of his relatives would not qualify to contest elections.